Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Circle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channels 365 and Star Times, channels 276. After days of disruption, medical services in Abuja are back on track as resident doctors suspend
who are medical professionals
at the Wuse District Hospital. Our correspondent Zarau Nasir observed that normal activities have resumed with doctors attending to patients without interruption.
Specialist training and a critical backbone of public hospitals had been on strike over unresolved issues. During the visit, Global TV observed that wards and consultation rooms were active once again, with patients being attended to as routine services returned. The atmosphere at the hospital reflected a return to normalcy after days of disruption. On the streets, residents welcomed the suspension of the strike. They appealed to both the government and the doctors to resolve their differences once and for all, stressing that repeated disputes could cripple the healthcare system in the Federal Capital Territory.
I will call the doctors and the government to consider the need of the citizens of Nigeria, so that to negotiate with the government so that every case will face a justice.
If we're looking at the health, which involves life of human being, you're supposed to have a standby policy that will make health workers not to go on strike, given the poor system of the economy. People are suffering, people are not feeding well.
But we just hope that since they've called off the strike now, we just hope that this will be, probably the end of it. We won't be like seeing any further strike from.
With doctors back on duty, hospitals in Abuja have regained stability, but many agree that only a lasting solution between both sides will prevent further breakdowns in healthcare delivery. Zahra Nasir, report to Global TV News.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, says Nigerians must embrace state police to tackle insecurity more effectively. He also called for support for President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms and push for greater women representation in the parliament. And Nyete Patrick reports.
Speaking to journalists in Abuja after returning from the WTO Inter-Parliamentary Union Conference in Geneva, Kalu described the current centralized police system as inadequate. On the global stage, the Deputy Speaker highlighted Nigeria's role in digital trade discussions and insisted that Africa's priorities must not be left out of next year's WTO Ministerial Conference in Cameroon.
The argument was that there should be a legislative tool, tracking tool, that will enable most of the countries within Africa, in fact the world, to look at how far they have gone with implementing those legislations with regards to this digital trading. Track their successes.
Kalu also praised Nigerians for standing with the president through the removal of fuel subsidy and other difficult reforms. He further urged lawmakers to support the reserved seats bill for women, stressing that democracy and economic progress cannot thrive without women in decision-making.
On the exclusive list and what is on the concurrent list, certain subject matters will not be handled by state police, while exclusive matters will be handled by federal police. So if we break it down, set up the structure the way Nigerians want it, and there are things that come naturally to women. Things like the child rights, the women rights, the girl child rights, the welfare, humanitarian issues, certain things ordinarily come, disabilities and all of that.
Kalu also reaffirmed his backing for diaspora voting but cautioned that Nigeria must first strengthen its electoral system. He maintained that the National Assembly will continue to deploy what he calls legislative diplomacy to address local challenges while ensuring Nigerians' voice is heard globally. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The federal has established a committee to investigate at the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigerian Complex in Managing Director of Beacon Security and Intelligence and the former head of security at the Senate, Kabir Adamu, disclosed this during a press briefing. 2 workers, including a military officer, had reportedly been killed and 4 others were injured after an explosion hit the corporation's factory in the Kurmingwari area of Kaduna State on Saturday. Former National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has assured Nigerians of the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to end security threats in prevalent parts of the country. To complement these efforts, special prayers have been offered by the Ganduje Foundation in Kano. Global Television correspondent Idris Jabir sent in these reports.
Alongside senior religious scholars, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje says the prayer session is also for the peaceful coexistence and religious tolerance among Nigerians.
We all pray, all political parties are requested to pray for peace and stability of this country, because the peace, we are all beneficiaries for peace and stability in this country.
The occasion also featured the administration of the Shahada to 280 new converts under the Ganduje Foundation.
To Allah zai biya wannan bukata. Idan Allah ba zai biya wannan bukatar ba zai baka ikon ka daga hannu ba. Amma san da duk ka daga hannu, tabbatar Allah zai biya maka bukatar ka.
The former chairman of the APC assured them of the foundation's support under its economic and social empowerment program.
It's not by force at all. It is through dialogue. It's only when they agree. If they don't agree, they have their own right and remain in the condition which they decide to find themselves.
Each of them also received Islamic books to guide them on the theories and practice of Islam.
The Nigerian Correctional Service says it has foiled an attempt by a man to smuggle substances suspected to be psychoactive drugs into the Medium Security Custodial Center, Kuje, the Federal Capital Territory. Public Relations Officer of the Federal Capital Territory Command, Samson Duza, disclosed this in a statement. Duza said a man identified as Njimu Ikedi attempted to visit an inmate on Saturday while concealing items suspected to be cannabis sativa and other psychoactive substances in his clothing. The planned commencement of a trial in the cybercrime charges brought against suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan before the Federal High Court in Abuja has been stalled, following an objection by her counsel. Akpoti-Uduaghan is facing a 6-count charge brought under the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act 2024 against her by the federal government. Akpoti-Uduaghan, who was arraigned on June 30 and granted bail on self-recognition, is alleged to have transmitted false and injurious information via electronic means with the intention of inciting endangering lives and breaching public order. Hundreds of women have protested in Abuja to push for a bill that would add women-only seats in the Senate and House of Representatives. Several African countries, from Senegal to Rwanda, have increased the number of women legislators by using quota systems, according to Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, a local non-governmental organization. Nigeria, which has no such system, only counts 4 women senators out of 109 and 16 women in the 360-member House of Representatives. Former National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has congratulated the immediate past Vice-Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano, Professor Adamu Abbas, having successfully served the university for 5 years. During a Grand Academy salute in honor of Abbas, academicians acknowledged the transformative leadership of the former Vice-Chancellor within the last 5 years. Global television correspondent Idris Jibril was there and now reports.
Organized by the former First Lady of Kano State, Professor Hafsat Ganduje, the event is a celebration of academic excellence, transformative leadership and legacies of the immediate past Vice-Chancellor of the Bayero University, Kano. According to the former chairman, Professor Sagir's visionary leadership and transformative achievement have brought growth and development to Bayero University. The aim of the program was also to further recognize the contributions of some notable Nigerians, including the Minister of State for Education, the incoming and the outgoing Vice-Chancellors of the university for their contributions to the development of education sector in Nigeria.
Bayero University, and this award at the same time is laying a solid foundation for your administration. You inherited a successful leadership, and from what we know, from what we see, from what we anticipate, is another successful university leadership.
For the convener of the Grand Salute, Professor Hafsat Ganduje, the success of Professor Abbas is a collective victory for Bayero University and Nigeria's education sector in general.
You can see how everything is coupling together. So I have been directed and I have been requested on behalf of the Bayero University.
While commending the convener, the outgoing VC, Professor Adamu Abbas, acknowledged the immense contribution of Abdullahi Ganduje and Professor Hafsat for the development of the university over the years.
I extend my thanks to the provosts, the first provost of College of Education and Allied Studies, deans and heads of departments, colleagues and students of the college and allied courses, and your commitment, sacrifices and loyalty gave meaning to our collective efforts. Today's event is not about me alone. It is about all of us who labored to move Bayero University forward despite lean resources, numerous expectations, and unprecedented global challenges.
Highlight of the event include presentation of awards to some promoted professors of the Bayero University, Kano, as well as recognition of the incoming Vice-Chancellor, Professor Haruna Musa. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, reporting for Global Television News.
Despite protests in some quarters, the 63 elected councillors in Edo State by-election conducted by the State Independent Electoral Commission last Saturday have received the certificates of return as fears of impeachment, resignation and suspension of the current acting chairman looms over some councils. However, the Commission in a press statement noted that the order was granted without affording it to do hard, and it has taken steps through its legal representatives to file a motion on notice seeking to discharge the order and ensure accelerated hearing of the substantive suits. This break, please stay with us. Welcome back from that short break, and now in business news. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says President Bola Tinubu has assured the National Assembly that all government borrowings under his watch will be sustainable, transparent and targeted at development. He was speaking at the opening of the 8th Annual African Network of Parliamentary Budget Offices Conference in Abuja. The speaker stressed that the House firmly backs the president's approach to loan-based development and economic reforms after earlier comments on Nigeria's rising debt profile, where Mr. Presented National Assembly correspondent Anita Patri completes the reports.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, says the House stands firmly behind President Bola Tinubu's borrowing strategy, insisting it is key to financing critical infrastructure and stimulating economic growth. He argued that when prudently managed, public debt remains a vital tool for growth, financing critical infrastructure and protecting vulnerable populations. He also disclosed that the House is pushing reforms to strengthen fiscal oversight, curb leakages, and boost accountability in the use of public resources.
Procurement processes, which make up a significant part of government spending, Nigeria loses an estimated $18 billion each year to financial crimes.
The Speaker also warned that Nigeria loses about $18 billion annually to financial crimes, stressing the need for stronger parliamentary oversight to safeguard public resources.
Corruption alone is estimated to drain about $148 billion from Africa annually. And other illicit financial flows such as trade malpractices, smuggling, among others.
Also speaking, Chairperson of the African Network of Parliamentary Budget Offices, Professor Dumisani Jantjis, warned that Africa's economies remain highly vulnerable to external shocks, including volatile capital flows, global trade disruptions, and climate change impacts.
This context makes fiscal oversight role of NABRO more crucial than ever. The challenge now is to consolidate these gains and translate macroeconomic stability into inclusive growth and tangible development within Nigeria.
At the conference, Abbas was named patron of the Parliamentary Budget Offices Network as he rallied African lawmakers to embrace evidence-based budgeting and adopt stronger oversight measures in line with the continent's 2063 development agenda. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Margins real gross domestic product grew by 4.23% year-on-year in the second quarter of 2025. National Bureau of Statistics revealed it in the second quarter 2025 report. According to the report released on Monday on its website, the figure shows a significant improvement compared to 3.48% recorded in the second quarter of 2024 and 3.13% recorded in first quarter 2025. These figures signal a strengthening economy driven by recent rebasing, rebounding in oil production, and a resilient non-oil sector. Stock markets fluctuated on Monday as investors took a step back after last week's rally fueled by the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut. Tokyo led the winners after Japan's central bank said it will sell off its huge stock of exchange-traded funds gradually. It sparked a sell-off Friday, announcing plans to offload holdings as part of a shift away from its loose monetary policy. And on foreign scene, at a memorial service in Arizona, President Donald Trump has commended his killing as more than just a violent act against one man, stating that it was an assault on the country itself. Uyi Agbomofebe reports. Polling stations have closed in Guinea after a referendum on a new constitution that could pave the way for elections, but also allow the country's junta leader to run for president. Mukhtar Qasim reports.
Voting was held under tight security, with 45,000 officers deployed and heavy military presence visible across the capital, Conakry, and beyond. Some 6.7 million Guineans were eligible to cast their vote, though turnout varied across the country. The Yes campaign dominated the street with rallies, posters, and music, while the No campaign was limited mostly to social media and exiled voices abroad. Opposition parties had called for a boycott, accusing the military government of suppressing dissent through arrests, bans, and media crackdown. Still, many citizens turned out hoping for an end to the military transition that began in 2021 when Doumbouya seized power from elected President Alpha Condé. Critics argued that the draft constitutions opened the door for Doumbouya's candidacy, while supporters say it will restore the constitutional order after 4 years of junta rule. Provisional results of the referendum are expected Tuesday evening. For many Guineans, the outcome will decide not only the country's political future, but also whether military rule finally gives way to civilian leadership. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
The recent wave of youth protests demanding change from Africa to Asia and now South America, who are calling for justice, opportunity, and a voice in shaping their nation's future has continued to grow. Our international correspondent, Deacon Michael, now reports.
Recent incident in Kenya, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Peru is now serving as a stark reminders. We're now seeing young voices who have been ignored or suppressed now on the streets, of making different nations a massive protest for calling for change. Now in Kenya, vibrant protests erupted over economic disparity, the police brutality and lack of employment opportunities. Young leaders had called for reforms and accountability, but their grievances have remained unresolved. Similarly, in Bangladesh and Nepal, young protesters mobilized against political corruption, ineffective governance, and social inequalities that hinder progress and threaten their stability, which has led to change of government. In Peru, just yesterday, economic hardship and governance crisis had fueled the widespread demonstration demanding change. Now, the common threads are clear. These young people feel left behind, unheard, and disillusioned. Many experts, however, believe that governments at all levels must rise up to address issues of corruption, political injustice, and governance failures, and also tackle systematic issues such as poverty, inequality, and governance failure that fuel this frustration and unrest, and to invest in the development and long-term plannings of this nation. Edika Michael reporting from England for Global Television News.
And in sports, Manchester City Bernardo Silva has criticized the Premier League scheduling, arguing it puts his team at a disadvantage in the draw against Arsenal. According to reports, the midfielder highlighted the fight turned around after their midweek Champions League match, which left City with limited recovery time. Arsenal secured a one-goal draw at Emirates Stadium with Gabriel scrolling a dramatic stoppage time equalizer. That's it on News Circle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.